mess people's schedules.
Oh my god! Anna didn't even put our car up. Yeah, we're totally live. We're gonna just fuck this all up. Good morning, everyone. It is February 27th, 2023, and it is a fucking Monday.
And it's definitely a Monday today because we're all messed up today. Nita can't. She's having problems with her signal. You know, it's like she accidentally set it to 11 p.m. instead of a.m. So it's probably going to take a bit for everybody to show up. You know, we're probably talking to ourselves right now.
We are, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I like us.
Everybody probably saw the 11 p.m. thing. It's like, oh, okay, they're trying something different today.
Fuck yeah, sleeping bitches.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So all right. So let's pretend that it's So let's pretend this is normal. So what's today's date? It is Monday, right?
Yeah, it is Monday, and it is the 27th of February, 2023, and we're gonna try to move on and get this fucking party started. You want to? Oh my god!
I'm cracking myself up. It's Monday, so let's go. All
right, let's do it.
Okay.
Caught me in the middle of making a drink. While I'm doing that, here's a disembodied voice that'll talk to you about what this commercial is about.
Shots with Comics is a comic show on the Indie Comics network after dark. Join some drunk people as they talk about what's going on in the comic world, what comics they are reading, and of course, all cohole. Mondays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Indie Comics network after dark. We will offend, anger, and make you uncomfortable. Join us, unless you are a what? Okay.
Swear to God, that's my real fucking life right now.
Oh no. So at least you're not hiding behind an icon right now. So
for now,
yeah. So welcome everybody. I know it's quite the wake up for all of us. I guess after like some I don't know.
all kinds of technical errors. All kinds of. Oh my God!
It was going good for a while ever since you changed your provider, and now it's like for the past couple of days you've been having some issues.
Well, we're building, the little houses of cards, like the
the whole McMansion city.
They're building like they tore down all the fucking woods back here, and they're so there's a lot of stuff going on. But the good thing is because they're building those big old houses and stuff, the better quality service is coming. So
so there you go. So we just have to show a little patience. And but if you see Nita go behind her icon or she disappears altogether, it's because she's having technical difficulties. But we'll manage to get
the 11 p.m. thing.
Well,
the stream to go live at 11 p.m. That was just my God, that was just a mistake. Oh my God.
Look, it happens. It was lucky that we that you noticed it, because I wasn't really paying attention.
It was like, why is it not telling us to go live?
So who's joining us today in the comments? So who made it? Who made it today?
Frank is here.
Hello, Frank.
Allison is here.
Hello.
Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, Allison. I hope you're feeling better. And I'm looking forward to listening to the rest of ElfQuest with you. So
we need to do that soon. I'm in the mood.
Yeah, really. It's like we got to savor it for a bit. Now we just need seconds and thirds. we need to go for leftovers. And yes, and I see you, the 4 people next to my giant eyeball on my screen right now. And if you are joining us from Facebook, if you are joining us from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in the chat. We could all wake up together today. What? No!
Nobody ditched you. We're waiting for you.
Yes, we are waiting.
Daphne.
The boss yes. Here. The boss. Yes, I know. It's like, look, if I don't get reminded, I actually sometimes forget. So thank you, Efrain. Yes. But let me finish my thought here before I forget to tell everybody this. It's like, if you're joining us from Facebook, if you're joining us from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in the chat. Keep the boss company. Keep the boss company. And while you're here, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever any of our shows go live. And yes, and because I sometimes really do need to be reminded. Hello, everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and you know what that means.
Welcome to another edition of Thunderdome!
And I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, which we should be getting the books maybe like next week. I'm very excited to finally get Peacekeepers out of the house so that we can get on to the next campaign. So thank you, everybody who supported the Peacekeepers campaign. And speaking of campaigns, I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which returns to Kickstarter very soon, a lot sooner than I expected. So if you want to keep an eye out for this campaign, all the links are in the show notes below. This is for Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 6. But if you're just hearing about the campaign right now, don't worry. I will have everything available on this campaign. You are not going to miss out on anything. You will be able to get issues 1 through 6 as a complete set, along with the volume 1 trade paperback. So you're not missing a thing. So again, all the links are in the show notes below to keep track of everything. So, and in the meantime, you can read both my comics online at Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, and egoworks.com, EGOWRKS. And you can check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And to tell you more about that, as far as
I'm scared to do
AT&T,
oh my God. So my name is Nita Lanning, and I'm a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana, and I am also the executive producer and poorly of the Indie Comics Network and Indie Comics Network After Dark.
We try our best.
We are not professionals.
No, we are absolutely not.
Not
absolutely not. You see, that's the only thing about calling ourselves a network is that it gives people too much of like they think a little too highly of us.
I'm changing. It's not gonna be Indie Comics Network anymore. It's gonna be Indie Comics and other shit.
Right? Yeah, it's like we're not CNN people.
No,
you're gonna get the equivalent of podcast karaoke.
No. Set the bar low and then imagine it below that.
Right? Yeah, and then it's like we're all good, and then it's
here.
Then our expectations will all meet up. So. And you made sure that you sent the link to our guests today, right?
Yes, I did. I did that. But, oh my God.
So so later on in the second half hour, we're going to have guests in today. We're
at least Matt from Insymmetry. Oh my God, dude! Matt knows because Steph can't make it, but
because she's out in California. Right, she's in California, so it's mad early for her. So not everybody wants to wake up early just to be on a dopey vlog.
God, especially after this morning, they're gonna be like, no.
Right. It's like you guys are a hot mess. It's like,
we are totally.
Oh my goodness. So Doghouse. I want to congratulate everybody at Hasm working on this project. The campaign did fund. I don't know if we spoke about that. It's currently on its way to meeting stretch goals right now. So, and I have 2 variant covers. If you joined us on Saturday for House of Bob, I was able to show off both those covers in all its celestial glory on the show. And I would like to thank Jake Twister for joining us. What was I thought was a really, really good episode. And we will be having him on the next episode of House of Bob for part 2 of our discussion. I mean, we could have just kept going on and on with what we were talking about. But no, we're going to save it for a part 2. So if you missed House of Bob on Saturday, you can check it out on the replay in our playlist on our either of our channels, and then join us on March 25th for part 2 of our discussion about Arrow manga and artwork that makes us uncomfortable. That'll be the next topic for the next show. So we're going to continue on with that conversation. So if you missed that out. So what's going on aside from your
I'm just fucking everything up today, like period. Like I'm like, okay, maybe I should just like go to bed and fucking try again. Wake up in about an hour.
There's really there are just some days that are really like that. I mean, honestly, it's like today I could have just kept on sleeping. It was just I'm
a train wreck.
Yeah.
And apparently it started when I built the StreamYard.
Oh no. So yesterday I was listening a bit to JD's show, Talking Comics on a Sunday. You can also catch on the replay. And they were talking about trends, like, it's like, do you have to follow Kickstarter or like any
current marketing trends to be successful?
Be successful, right? And the funny thing is that I had asked before the show. Very lucky for you. Hopefully in a good way. Hopefully you're in bed in a good way.
Not jealous,
right? Exactly. And he was talking, and I had before the show, and I had asked him, it's like, well, what would be considered a trend as opposed to a fad, as opposed to just what it is,
right?
And what's funny was that he couldn't really answer me because it's like he hates thinking about he hates thinking about the show before the show, kind of. He likes to do everything at the last minute. So, but the thing is, though, is that so. There was something that came up where Rosario was talking about webtoons. And he was talking about how at one, I guess the previous New York Comic Con that he was at, he was on a panel with the guy, I guess like one of the CEOs or whatever from Webtoons. And they were talking about how they made, I mean, something crazy like that, how they made like $800 million or something stupid like that. Like, I don't know. It's like, I it's like that they just made an insane amount of money off the platform. And the funny thing is that Rosario, of course, preempted that. Was like, look, let's not talk about, we're not talking about the fact that they don't pay their artists. He's like, he was more concerned about the amount of money that Webtoons is making. And it's like, you know what? No, you have to talk about that.
Right.
Because it's like the implication of the conversation was that why aren't you on Webtoons? If Webtoons is where all the kids are at reading comics, right? Why aren't you putting your stuff on Webtoons? And what's funny is that Jose had an angle that I didn't think about. And he had said, why do I want to make money for someone else that's not me? Because especially knowing that Webtoons is infamous for not only not paying their creators and hiding their financials from their creators, and then still expecting them to work almost mangaka schedules to be able to create content for the platform. It's like Jose says, like, look, I have my own website. If I wanted to put my stuff up for free, I could do that on my own website.
Okay. I kind of, because of another trend that happens to be going on, running concurrently with that one, I do see a benefit in it for some people. Not everybody, because like I said, there's no one size fits all in this.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's not how it works. But for a lot of people that did post and share to Webtoons, yes, they weren't getting paid for that. However, when they went over to Kickstarter, they brought that audience with them, and then the money came.
Right. Well, I mean, because that was the thing. Because
it's easier for someone to see you on Webtoons than your own personal website. It is damn near impossible to get people to go to people's websites.
I mean, it is tough. It is tough. And you see, the issue. You say, but
fuck Webtoons for not.
Well, that too. Yeah, exactly. But the issue that I had with it, right, is that I was on Webtoons years ago. Probably it was a couple of years pre-pandemic, maybe around like 2018, 2019, probably even as early as 2017. I'm trying to remember. And I had Eager Raven up there for about like 2 years. I had Tall Tales up there as well. And at the time, it was just like, it was really just what I could put up was pretty grueling. I mean, because the format was just complete, the format from a comic to the Webtoons format is just like, it's a completely different thing. And the setup that I needed to do to make those conversions, and mind you, this was when everything was in black and white. So, and in the end, it's like, I was on there for 2 years, and I pretty much didn't see, I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. Maybe that was part of the problem. I didn't really have an expectation, so I didn't know what to look for or what to work towards, and so it's like, so in the end, I took everything down, and it's like, okay, whatever. And the funniest thing, though, is that, I'm listening to Rosario, and it's like, and what's funny is that, so while I was listening to Rosario, and this is not the first time he's brought this up, which kind of makes me go, it's like, okay, since you have such a hard on for Webtoons, what are you doing about it? What are you doing with that information, right?
Wow.
But then it's like, I'm sitting here going, okay, well, what am I doing with this information? So while while they were talking about it on the show, I kind of went back and set up some of my pages again in the Webtoons format or something similar to it. I was just testing it out on my phone.
Right.
And and I just, and I just started like pulling pages again. Now I just have to say, between this and my little Tankoban experiment, trying to put together like what a manga I am fed up with looking at these pages. I have to admit, it's like right now I'm up to here with issue 1.
I've had enough of my own shit.
It's like, so what I did was I was doing this while they were talking. So I was just trying to pull together the pages. And what's funny is that I was using, Nicholas, I was using what I learned off of the manga, like putting together the pages for manga format and applying it to here, like as of, like putting like gradients in the background. Right. I'm not really formatting the panels, because before I was formatting the panels and it was annoying. And what I realized is that I didn't have to make the setup as complicated as I did before. And I guess phones have come such a long way. Like even when I shrink it down, when I shrink the like panels down like this, because I can't break that up, or at least I don't want to, in a way that it'll fit more up and down. Like, it's still really clear. I can still read my pages on my phone. This is my new phone too. This is a Galaxy 23. So I'm assuming that a lot of, since they say that a lot, I mean, I'm pretty much assuming that it's kind of the same on everybody's phone, but I was really surprised at how well I was able to read, the pages at this size. So this is about as far as I got, it's like in the time that they were talking about it. So just to kind of like test this out, this isn't on Webtoons. This is just something that I put together to just test
formatting
on my phone.
To play with it.
Yeah. So this is just, something in my gallery, like, cause it's like, this is, like, this is what the scroll looks like. So, and then it's like I just enlarge it, to size, just for me to kind of like, okay, does this format work? Now, I do have to admit that it didn't really take me that long. Like I probably could have just kept going once I realized that I didn't have to do like really crazy edits to get everything to fit. I could have just, like fake it with the gradient background and whatnot.
Right.
But then it kind of hit me. It's like, I go, why? It's like, it's like, I was like going, you know what? Just because I have this information, it's like, okay, what am I doing with this information? And then it's like, do I have to do anything with this information? Like, does there come a point where there are just some things we just have to put to the side and not worry about? It's like not everything that everybody talks about. It's like, oh, it's like, because you know what it is?
If you tried to apply everything, since that never ends, you would drive yourself fucking crazy.
And that's kind of like how I was feeling, because it's like, like I said, I was trying to put together, like some of the pages, testing the pages in a manga format, right? But the thing is, though, is that without the actual access to distribution that manga has, it's I don't know if it would be like a pointless endeavor, but it's certainly not something that I should be in a rush to figure out.
No.
Because it's like, all I'm going to be doing is offering up a manga on Kickstarter. Like, it's not like you're going to see an Eagle Raven manga in Walmart, unless I sign up with somebody, who'll do that for me. It's like, and that's not something that I'm chasing right now. So it's like, okay.
Distractions everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, at what point does information become just that? They're just distractions rather than guideposts for where in the direction you should be going. And then it's like I did this Webtoons test. It's not, like I said, it's not on Webtoons. It's just me testing the working with the format. But again, it's like, it's still effort I have to put in for something that I've already been burnt by already. Like, maybe it would work. Maybe I would have a little bit more traction this time around on Webtoons or something like that because it's in color. Maybe I would have more traction. And plus I know a little bit better on how to format it. So it, like I said, it didn't take me as long as it did in the beginning, but it's still time and effort I have to put in to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like, okay, so like what kind of return on that investment, on my time investment, am I going to get from that? Because I actually distracted myself. I was inking and I actually distracted myself by putting this together for I guess like for the hour and a half that the show was going on. And then I realized I could have had my inking done had I have just focused on that instead of putting together some bullshit test. Now, here's the thing. Is it really a bullshit test? I'm holding on to it. But in the end, it's like, I realized that it's like, okay, what am I doing with this information? Honestly, right now, nothing. And that's probably what I should be doing with it. I'm just going to, okay, so I have my test pages for the manga. I have my test thing for Webtoons. But you know what? They're kind of irrelevant right now.
Right.
So would they help sell more books for me? Maybe, but it's not something I'm ready or really have the resources to do right now. Like, so it's like, so this is just something where it's like, you know what? I'm not in a rush. It's like what my focus is that I should be doing the work that I have on my list right now, that I have scheduled out for the year.
Right.
Not worrying about what future me might be able to accomplish if I had done this format as well. Because you know what? That is a future me problem. And you know what? And it's for something for future me to solve. It's not something for me to solve right now. So it's like, so yeah, so it's like, because what happens is that if you get like too caught up in conversations like that, you just get full of anxiety that you're never doing enough.
Right.
And I have gotten to a point where I dumped that. I had that anxiety before, and then especially for the last year or so, I felt like, you know what, I'm doing just fine. So it's like, I'm not in a rush for anything. But last night, I kind of found myself getting back into that cycle again. It's like, oh my God, you're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. You're not doing enough. And I go, wait a minute. Wait. I'm not doing enough of what?
Right.
It's like, what I'm not doing is that I'm not inking. That's the part that was the important part that I stopped doing, because I got wrapped up in somebody saying you're not doing enough, and got wrapped up in something that had nothing to do with me at this moment.
Right.
And and it's like, I just want everybody to kind of like keep that in mind, because it's very easy to get overwhelmed with all this information that you hear us talk about, or you hear on other shows and whatnot, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, this works, that doesn't work, and why are you doing this and why are you doing that? Are you following trends? Well, if you're not following trends, that's why you're failing on Kickstarter, because you're not catering specifically to an audience.
There is no individual on this planet that can do every option we have for promotion and marketing.
Right. Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah.
There is not one individual who is going to be able to get on every fucking platform.
Yeah.
To promote. They can't.
Right.
I mean, you could try, but you're just going to drive yourself fucking crazy.
Right. And that's kind of what was happening to me last night. Like, like in the end, I mean, I am kind of pleased in seeing the result, of it's like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as I remember. But it's, but I also have to remind myself that, you know what, it's not really worth the effort right now. And I really shouldn't spend any more time on this, because it is going to take me a while. Like, even if I did want to go back on Webtoons, it's going to take me a while to format enough content that I don't have to worry about it for a while, and 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 it's like, you know what, maybe this will be something that I just work slowly on the side, and then just kind of like, and then when I, like I said, when I get that backlog, then I can consider going on webtoons.
Right.
But I just have to remember my focus is the actual book itself. I have to, like, I finished the lettering and all the shading for issue 6. Now I just have to color correct, and I want to get that done in about a week or so. So I could finally have that book finished and get proofs done. So that's where my focus should be. That's where my time should be, because that I actually have a literal return of investment coming up on that effort for issue 6. We have the campaign coming up and everybody's waiting for it. And that's where I have to put my focus, not on whether webtoons is going to pay off for me 2 or 3 years down the road.
Right.
Focus
on the now. Right here, right now.
Yeah, that was literally what I had to remind myself. It's like, look, what do I have to do now? What do I need now? Everything else is like I said, I'm not in a rush. So so we're just hitting the half-hour mark. We have our guests patiently waiting in the back. Yes, sir. And so Nita, you want to hit a bump?
I'm going to throw a bump, and I'm going to try to hang in here with you guys. But if I drop, I don't know.
Right. That's there we go. So we'll be right back.
Oh my God.
You can do it, Nita.
It's frozen. Okay, here we go.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
Can you
here.
do it?
And
there we go. Hello, sir.
What's going on? If this was 1990s WWF, I'd be Val Venus, and I'd be saying, "Hello, ladies."
Oh.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Hello. Yes.
What's going on? What's going on?
And you know what? Yeah, and I remember that when it was new. Exactly. To date myself. But hey, so welcome back, sir. So why don't you tell the peoples who you are, even though this is not your first time here, but we have a lot of first timers joining us.
It's all good. Well, I'm Matt Knowles. I am one half of Insymmetry Creations alongside of Steph Cannon. I'm East Coast. She's West Coast. She would be here, but this show just conflicts with, she has to do school drop-off.
Oh, no, there you go.
She's already been up for like 4 hours. She gets up before me, even though she's 3 hours behind. She's a nut. She runs 100 miles a month.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But we do a lot of creative things. We have a steampunk time travel apocalyptic sci-fi series. There's a Facilidor, Tales from Nocturnia. I do panel hosting and emceeing. Steph does articles on horror culture and geek culture for Fangoria and Horror Geek Life and Creepy Kingdom and a bunch of other sites. But we also have a title that is on Kickstarter right now, which is our all ages title that is on Scout Comics as well, called Misfits Clubhouse. The title that is funding is Sharks, Dragons, and Little Red Wagons. And I'm sure we'll be able to talk about that more. We also do a lot of anthology stories too. We have an anthology story for Orange Cone Productions for Holiday Spirits 2 that just came out, and we're working on 2 more at the time.
Right. And you also have a band, right?
I do. I'm a musician as well. So it's all studio projects.
Right.
Yes, I'm a metal musician. We do metal music.
Right.
Even the campaign video for Misfits Clubhouse, we wrote some music, and you can hear a little bit of it. It's not the fully functioning song. There's the lyrics are written, but we don't have the theme song lyrics on there. But it's like, if you mix Trollfest with Humanoid Opera, most likely people have not heard either of those bands.
Right.
But if you went up and listened to either one of you, you'd be like, what the hell? Humanoid Opera literally dresses like gray aliens for everything that they do. And Trollfest, their most recent album, they literally dress like pink flamingos on Norwegian national TV, and we're playing blast beats trying to get into the Eurovision.
Oh, there you go.
Festival.
So it's kind of like they're doing that Eurovision.
Exactly. They were trying to get onto Eurovision,
right.
Playing blast beats with saxophones and accordions in the middle of their metal songs. But yeah, that's kind of what the vibe is on
right.
The
Oh,
video,
there you go. And steampunk enthusiast.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We're all over the place.
Yeah. And the thing is though, and I guess like dovetailing from what we were talking about, like how do you keep all of this from overwhelming you?
I when I figured that out, I'll let you know.
Oh, okay.
Well, but truthfully though, one of the things, because Steph and I, even though we're on opposite coasts, we work as if it was two people in cubicles in an office. So we're on video chat the entire business day. But we have a log every day. We will notate and log every single thing that needs to be done at the start of the day, whether it's things we can get done that day or things that, whether it's things we can get done that day or things that are like, hey, these are the overarching things. We need to finish that script or we need to get this done by the end of the year. It's all there. And we will notate every single thing that actually gets done in that day, even if it's as little as send an email to this person or reviewed, like yesterday, even though it was a Sunday night, we have 2 different anthologies we're working on, and we got art in from both artists yesterday that we had to review. So we'll make sure we notate that so that way, because Daphne, I was listening before we got on and you said it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And one of the things for us to help us get to where we're just at that whelmed level, not overwhelmed.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, we'll look back and we're like, holy crap, it doesn't feel like we got much done, but we've literally like checked off 16 things on the list. And that it helps us to always have that visual to go back to so that way something doesn't slip through the cracks or oh, crap, it's been a week and we haven't touched that script. We have to go make that a priority tomorrow. And the first thing in the morning we'll do that. So that's the thing we do to try and help it to not get too insane, but yes, it gets freaking
Now the thing is too is that like, do you do a lot of like research into like we were talking about like trends or what other people are doing, and do you try to like also incorporate that, or you kind of like that's kind of irrelevant, or I don't know if this would work, or like again, it's like, you know, like a little too much information overload on top of everything?
Well, I think that's a great question. We do exactly what you said. We do try to go out there and research all of it and then decide which are the things that we can make for us. There are quite a few different things that we revolve back to. I feel like it's a conversation we have every January or February where we're like, we should really get into doing this. And we're like, that'd be a good idea to do it. And then you get to like March, April, May, and we're like, yeah, we do not have time to do that. We would have to put a lot more effort and a lot more energy into it. And by doing that, it would cut off the things we need to be doing. So we always are like looking at that. But to your point, you can't get stuck in just the one thing that you do and think that's always going to work. I think Kickstarter is a perfect example of that, because from campaign to campaign, things vary wildly. And in campaign, even on a day-to-day basis, things vary wildly. For the campaign we're in right now, we knew going in it was going to be tough to fund Misfits Clubhouse, Sharks, Dragons, and Little Red Wagons because of the type of title it is and because of the economy we're in. The economy sucks. We're paying $25 for a freaking carton of eggs. Gas is crazy. Tax returns are terrible. Nobody has pandemic money. Everybody's afraid of, can I pay my bills? Rent is out of control. And so we knew going in it was going to be tough. So we couldn't expect to be doing Heirs of Isildur money. But, you know, we're just thankful. Like last night late, we finally got to minimum funding. Now we're on the stretch goals. Yeah, but it's always tough. You know, we're like, is it going to be different in 2 months on Kickstarter? Is there a better place to be? You know, you always have to be looking to make sure that you at least are putting your energy into the thing where money might be for your projects.
Because we were talking about that, like that how we think that a lot of people, like, they kind of came onto Kickstarter during a boom period, pretty much during the pandemic when everyone was home and, you know, had that extra, because they weren't spending money outside, so they had the extra cash, and now it's probably like a correction in the market, as they would say, where it's like, this is kind of exactly where you should be, but it's just that we all got used to a boom period that is actually the outlier, the outlier.
I can tell you, we had a couple of Kickstarters that were 5 digits during the pandemic, and maybe it was the title, maybe it was the money that was there, maybe it was people were bored, nothing else to spend their money on. But I think now there's so many things working against us as creators, and I think too, and Daphne, I know you do shows. Nita, I'm not sure how many live shows you've been to recently, but I think that the live show market is changing a lot too. I know in Florida, I would say is a victim of their own success. And what I mean by that is that Florida never really shut down when it came to live shows. The very first show that came back after the pandemic was Collective Con Jacksonville in July of 2020. We were a part of that show. It actually set the standard to show people this is how shows can come back. And Florida has always had these shows that are happening, but now it's like you never saw a lull of shows. Now every weekend there's like 3, 4, 5 shows.
Wow.
And across the state, it's crazy. And I don't think that people realize that there's only a certain amount of dollars that can go around.
There's tons of shows and the sales are dropping.
Yeah, you can't expect to be like, I'm going to go to 5 shows in X market in the next 12 months and think that those same people are going to come back and just be throwing $50 bills at you. It's not going to be that way. So we've had to, for multiple reasons, we've had to pick and choose our shows that we do live this year very strategically because we don't want to be just hand over fist, just flushing money down the floor.
No, absolutely. And I guess like the shows that you mostly do are what, local, or do you go cross country, or is that kind of?
So I do a lot of shows in Florida. Whenever Steph can get here, she'll do the shows in Florida as well. But we try to make sure that we're really thinking about, if we're going to do a multiple day show, is it a show that requires 2 days? Is it a show that requires 3 days? Because we've seen that there's some shows that are like, hey, we're going to go do this 2-day thing. And nobody is going to come to 2 days of that show. They might all come on Saturday, or they might come for 30 minutes on a Sunday. And is it worth our time and effort to travel there, rent a place to stay? Because that makes a big difference, where you're, or is it better to do 2 one-day shows in the same weekend?
And can we just stop with Friday shows? They always bomb.
I can tell you, we've done a few 4-day shows, and though normally you're only going to do 4-day shows when they're the huge, big, massive shows. And I can tell you right now, for us, we feel like that 4th day, that Thursday, is like the punishment day. We were going there, like we did New York Comic Con, and the guy beside us made $4,300 in the first 30 minutes of being open on Thursday. And we were just like watching this, and we're like, what the heck? We're like, why is a Star Wars cover artist sitting beside us? But like for people like us, we don't do that stuff on a Thursday. But what else could we be doing? We could be working on our scripts. We could be out there doing other things, making us money.
Every time I go, it's really tough, especially for something as big as New York Comic Con, which is ironic because you would think that because it's so big that you would have, kind of like that steady stream, but no, it's not. It's like you really
not for the independents anyway. For the corporate guys, they're
for the corporate guys, exactly. Because I remember one New York Comic Con, I was sitting next to a guy who was, I don't know if he was drawing Ghost Rider.
Okay.
And there was like this entire line of people blocking my table because they were all waiting for the Ghost Rider. They could care less what was on my table, even though that they were going to be there. And I go, okay, motherfuckers, you're going to block my table? I'm going to make you earn it. And I started drawing Ghost Rider, like little chibi sketches. And there were people that they were like going, holy shit, you're drawing Ghost Rider. Let me get that. Let me get that. And then they would take it to him to sign it.
Oh my goodness! Well, Steph and I probably need to start doing that.
So it's like, okay, so I got that to work.
Yeah, even though we're not artists, we need to like start drawing stick figures or something. We actually had a very similar situation, which was kind of humorous at New York Comic Con, where they had this guy that was beside us, and most of the most of the people that had lines like that, they were staging the line elsewhere in the building.
Oh, okay.
And they did not start off by doing that for us.
Right.
And there was a line that was like solid right down the line. And there were people like us, and Pat Shand was in the same row as us. And this line extended all the way down. And if you've ever seen Steph, she's like 95 pounds soaking wet. And she was like, nope, this is not how it's going to be. And she went and found a person that worked there, and she was like, you got to do something about this, because this is not fair for everybody down this
exactly
row.
You pay, and mind you, that's an expensive show to go to.
Money.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and for them to be actively pretty much sabotaging our ability.
Blocking you.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but but it's so like shows, and that's the thing, going back to shows in real life is just another addition of this overwhelming thing that you have to keep an eye out for. You know, it's like, is a 4-day show really worth 4 days? But in the end, it's not like you can pay for the table for 1 day.
Exactly. So it's tough, because we always try to make sure that there is at least one show that we do a year that is similar to kind of what you guys were talking about with Webtoons earlier. What I mean by that is we'll try to make sure we do at least one show where we know we're not going to make our money back from being at that show, but it's the point of being at that big show and being able to see some of the creators in a different area in the country, and hoping that being there raises our profile and we get some residual sales later on. Kind of like you're saying with Webtoons, where you might not make money there, but you might be able to bring that audience to your campaign or to your live shows. But you can only do so many of those things. You can't just be like, oh, we're going to make sure we're going to go to the show and we're going to spend, X amount for the table and for the hotels and travel and all that. No, we're not going to get the money back. And now we're going to go do the same thing the next week. You can't do that every week. There's just not money out there for that. So.
Right. Yeah. So, Nita, why don't you bring up his campaign? So this is the campaign on Kickstarter that you have right now. Definitely different from Heirs of Ilsiador.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. So tell us about. Actually, you know what? We should play the video since it has your music in it.
Yes, absolutely.
So there you go. So hit it.
Mickey, Fairy, Slothy, and Stig are back
in Misfits Clubhouse. Sharks, dragons, and little red wagons. Our lovable quartet knows how to turn anything into a big adventure.
And this issue is no exception.
They have a face-off with the ever-feared Old Man Willie.
There's a beach bash bonanza in their future.
And we also get to meet for the very first time their favorite TV hero,
Bruce McTutherson,
aquatic investigator. This campaign will have multiple collectible covers by awesome artists.
And as you'd expect from us, the unique swag. We hope you'll stick around.
Come on in and hang out in the clubhouse.
Join along in the shenanigans.
Yeah, no, I have to admit though, the shark the shark investigator. It's like, so I mean, I think that the video was pretty clear, but is there any more that you want to add to I guess like to what this book is about? And
so Misfits Clubhouse is told in short stories. It's just like small little episodes about 4 neighborhood kids, Mickey, Fairy, Slothy, and Stig, that their imaginations are so huge that sometimes they start to change the environment around them. They might start pulling some of this, insanity into their reality. And we just have fun being able to write these short form, silly stories because it's so different from what we normally do. I mean, Heirs is a big, long, overarching series. It's dark, it's apocalyptic. Tales from Nocturnia, same way. The medieval pieces that were the anthology pieces we do the same way. With this, we're just like, what's something silly we can write? Bruce McTutherson is a great example. Steph actually went with her kids to Build-A-Bear years ago and made a shark, and it's literally sitting in a room, and the name is Bruce McTutherson. And we were just sitting there one day on video chat, and it was like, man, we should write a story about Bruce, and we'll just make him an investigator, and just this thing just kind of like just blossomed out of there. And so think about with like Fat Albert, when the Fat Albert gang would run back to the clubhouse to go watch the Brown Hornet. That's kind of how it is. So we got to like have a story within a story for Bruce. Fishback Sports has been robbed, and Sergeant Waldron has gotten Bruce on the case, and Bruce has to figure it out. But Bruce is also a bumbling buffoon. So will his intelligence or his buffoonery be what wins out?
Right. Oh, kind of like Inspector Clouseau, right?
Exactly. So we have the Bruce McTutherson story. Then we've also got Beach Bash Bonanza, where Captain Bluebeard has seen that the kids are having some fun at the beach, and he's not all about that. So the kids have to kind of fend off Captain Bluebeard. We have a story called Old Man Willow, which is about a neighborhood menace that the kids find out about. And then the last story in the book is called Barrel Peril, and that's the story where people get a chance to be able to get drawn into the book. We've already got the basis of that story actually drawn out. We just don't have all the characters in there because we don't know who's gonna, get drawn in. The cool thing about that is that with this being a title that is also distributed by Scout Comics, there is a very good possibility that down the line you're going to be able to go to your comic book store down the street and you're going to be able to say, hey, I want to pick up that issue. Why? Because my face is in there.
Right.
There's not a lot of opportunities that you get to do that, to go into your LCS and be like, dude, I'm in this book right here. That's pretty cool.
One I might need to pledge just to get those socks, man.
I tell you, we have a lot of fun with the socks. The Bruce McTutherson socks, as you can see, our artist really captured, or Raheel Mosin really captured the essence of what we wanted for Bruce and built on the silliness. And this is actually the fourth pair of socks that we've created for Insymmetry Creations. We did 2 different ones for Heirs of Isildur. This is the second one for Misfits. And one of the things that we hear from everybody is how comfortable these socks are.
They are, and they are super comfortable. And they are high quality too.
Oh, then I definitely had, because
I'm terrible with laundry. I'm always talking about I just throw everything together, whatever. I have washed and worn these socks a bazillion times, and they are still great.
There we go. So I definitely gonna have to, because I'm in. Look, I only saw him for a split second, and Bruce is already my favorite character.
And a lot of people felt that way about Bruce. Bruce just he resonates with people. It's like, who's cooler than Bruce McTutherson? Ain't nobody cooler than Bruce. We've actually got these little Bruce McTutherson pins as well.
Cute.
Bruce is so excited about having a pin that he's gone meta, and he's excited on the pin.
There you go. Yeah, those are really good looking socks.
And we've had many times where somebody has put a post up and they've taken a picture of their feet, and they're like, look at these socks, they're really comfortable. And then in the thread will be a bunch of people being like, hey, here's me wearing the socks too, or hey, last weekend I wore them to a wedding. And
yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't you? So this is like your all ages book, and it's kind of like not exactly a 180 to Heirs of Isildur, because it's like they do still seem to kind of look related without looking like completely like you went left field. Now, but the thing is, though, is that, so have you noticed a difference in trying to market pretty much an all ages book as opposed to when you were marketing Isildur?
It's completely 180. It is very, very difficult to market a book, because when people, it's like, I think all ages and adult are words that get misunderstood.
Yes, absolutely.
People hear the word adult, and the first thing they think is there's got to be boobs and clamshells and all this kind of insanity happening.
Arby's sandwiches everywhere.
Exactly.
Daphne.
And for when they see the term all ages, they think, oh, this is for 5-year-olds.
Right.
And they don't understand that all ages means your kid can enjoy it. You can enjoy it. The first issue of Misfits, they got trapped in a pinball machine and had to play their way out.
Right.
And that's something that a kid can find fun. But we love telling the story about how our artist, Raheel, who is definitely an adult.
Right.
When we started talking about this, Raheel's from India and he'd never played a pinball machine before. So we had to go back to square one and literally teach him every aspect of a pinball machine. What is a flipper? What's a bumper? What's the point of it? How do you score points? So we got to see this adult learning about a pinball machine. And he's like, can I put a trampoline farm in here? Can I do this? Can I do that? And he was lighting up like a kid and enjoying this. And we've had a lot of adults that are like, oh, had to play it off a pinball machine. That's awesome. I want to get that issue because that sounds fun. And that's why we always say it's for the young and the young at heart. But to your point, yes, it is difficult because people see that term and they think, oh, this is for babies or this is for kids. And there's not a collectability factor, and so it does make it tough. Now, with this issue, one of the cool things, as you saw, there's a Bruce McTutherson cover, and that's done by a guy named Peter Ramundo, who we met, I think it was back at that first show back from the pandemic at Collective Con 2020. Peter is a former Disney animator that was there during the Renaissance, and he probably animated some part of your childhood or early adolescence. He's done Mulan, Tarzan, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove. It blows my mind that this guy can probably walk into any Comic-Con in the world and be able to be like, yep, there's a pop that I could sign. Yep, there's some art of something I worked on. Or, yep, that thing about Lilo and Stitch that you remember that was cute. Oh yeah, that was me.
That was me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so we have become really good friends with him, and he does a lot of stuff that in his own career now, he does a lot of illustration and children's book art and children's book writing. And so we thought it was great to get him on the Bruce cover. And so, we're like, hey, here's some dude that is definitely an adult that has done a lot of animation. Right. That, when you see stuff like that, you'll always stop. If you see Toy Story, you'll stop. If you see Wreck-It Ralph, you'll stop. It's not because you're 5 years old. It's because it's fun, and we need some fun in this world.
Yeah, I mean, it is very strange to see how people it's like just because some they literally act like, oh, if it's because it's for babies, it was made by babies. It's like that's not how it works.
Or because it's safe for children, adults can't enjoy it, and that is such that is such BS. Like Misfits. Okay, so Misfits Clubhouse is freaking fantastic. I loved it. I got some giggles out of it. The kids read it too. But there's an unfair advantage because an audience that can be reached, which is children that would enjoy this, are not getting it. For one, because it's on Kickstarter. Kids aren't walking around with credit cards. Matt's advantage is it will be in stores since he will be distributing through Scout. But another unfair advantage is here on YouTube. You cannot push all ages on YouTube fairly, because if you have a show that's appropriate for children or made for children, you can't advertise. You can't put links. I mean, it's so restrictive. I mean, all ages is a hard sell, and you guys still do great.
It's tough, and even with this campaign, we set our ask at probably half of what we normally set for campaigns, and we follow the mindset of you can either ask for what you think you can get at the end of the campaign or what you think you can get in the first 48 hours, which honestly nowadays on Kickstarter, it's basically in the first 24 hours because that cliff starts as soon as the day clicks over to the next calendar day.
Yes, it does.
You drop off that cliff immediately. So we always try to set it about we want to set it realistically, and even with this campaign, it was tough just getting to that minimum funding level that we got to last night. Our ultimate goal with this one is, can we get $1 and one backer more than we did on the first Misfits? If we can get there, I mean, will we get there? It's who knows, but we had to set that goal early on and make sure that we had tempered expectations, because until it's on Disney Channel or until it's on Nickelodeon, you're not going to be making Heirs of Isildur money or Tales from Nocturnia money. But we have to be satisfied with what it is like. And like you said, Nita, it's very true. You have to market to the people who are marketing to the kids, the parents and the uncles and the aunts. But we want to make sure that as Daphne, would you react? You're like, oh, those Bruce McTutherson socks are great. That's who we want to be marketing to, because you're not looking at that to buy them for somebody else. You want to put those things on your own feet.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So you are going through Scout. So is this like your first issue with Scout, or like have you already experienced being distributed by them, or you're still?
So with Scout, the way that it worked is our first piece with Scout was in a all ages magazine called Frontiers magazine. So think like if you saw Mad magazine, but it was totally aimed at the pre-adolescents. So the first story we did, I Don't Want Any Asparagus, was in there.
Right.
There was a lot of success and a lot of buzz about it, so we immediately went on to kickstarting a version of issue 1 that we did probably in 2021, and then Scout did their own version of issue 1 for distribution. And for those issues, there was the story Pinball Madness we talked about with the being trapped in a pinball machine, having to play your way out. That was in both versions, but then each issue, Kickstarter versus Scout, had their own unique content. For this issue, it'll be different. The stories that are in this issue are going to be the same because having we're going to have this version for Kickstarter and this version that's slightly different for Scout was just making us all lose our minds.
Right.
So what the difference will be is when it goes out onto Scout, there'll be some unique cover options and different things like that. So that way, if you're a collector, you can get the Kickstarter version, because the Kickstarter version will have the list of names of the, we call it the Clubhouse crew, the people that have backed the campaign will be in there. That will be in the Scout version, but Scout will have some different cover options. So that way there's still a collectability, but it won't be this insanity of, we got to go over here and get stories A and B for this issue, but then get A, C, and D.
Right.
That just got to be too much for both Steph and I.
Right, but pretty much, and also you get all the add-ons on the Kickstarter that you don't get from Scout. I mean, that's like you're not going to get the socks from Scout.
You're not going to get the socks, not going to get the Bruce pins. We just unlocked the first, or just announced the first stretch goal, which is at 2,500, which is there's a secret meeting of the Clubhouse crew, and anybody who's a backer is going to get a ticket to it. So we decided that for the physical backers, we're actually going to print up, even if it's on a sticker, we're going to print up actual copies of it. And then we're going to poorly write everybody's name on there, because actually it's going to be the kids. The Misfits are going to write it on there. So if it was me pretending to be one of the Misfits, then I might have to write it with my left hand. So you're going to get a ticket that says Daphne Lage on there, and it's going to look horrible, but it's going to look great because it's going to look like it came from the kids.
Right.
Fitting with the theme.
Keep it fun.
Yeah, got to keep it fun.
So how many more days do you have on the campaign? Oh, you have 10 days to go. Thank you to whoever it was that pledged during the show. Thank you. Yeah, because I went over to the thing and I saw the numbers scroll up. So so thank you to the 60 backers who've supported so far. There's 10 days to go. They have reached their goals. So it's like you said that now it's all about the stretch goals. So let's help Matt out with that as well. So is there any other place that people can find you and your work outside of Kickstarter?
Absolutely. So if you go to insymmetrycreations.com, I can put the link tree in there. We've got a lot of different places where you can go, whether it be the typical social medias, but then our main website, we always try to make sure that there are story profiles up there for all the different things we do. There's links to all the different anthologies we've been in. There's links to both of the metal albums that we've produced for Heirs of Isildur and Tales from Nocturnia. There's also a page up there. Steph has over 70 bylines to her credit between, like I said, Fangoria, Horror Geek Life, Creepy Kingdom. So all the different articles that she's written or the movie reviews she's done, they're all there. There are pictures from the different shows that I've been an MC at. I'm getting ready to go to do a live show, Clearwater Comic-Con, which is a one-day show. Did it last year, and it was a great show. Got to go there and be alongside of Scout at those shows. So that's, because of the affiliation with Scout, there's been some shows we've been able to get into. Great little show in Clearwater, Florida. And then in 2.5 weeks, we will be back at Collective Con in Jacksonville. And we'll be guests up at that show, which will be the first time that we'll have Holiday Spirits 2 on the shelf. It'll be the first time we'll have Heirs of Isildur, The Perilous Prospects, Book 2, which we just got in from the printer last Monday. So that'll be the first show. I believe maybe it'll be this weekend, but it'll probably be the first show we have The Perilous Prospects Book 2 on the shelf. And so we're super excited about those. But yeah, we'd love people to go up and back the Kickstarter. If you are like, hey, that Heirs of Isildur looks really cool, I never even heard about it before right now, you can put those things up.
And those were good-looking books that you just put up.
Absolutely.
This is a cover from Just Josh Draws. He is an excellent artist from the Melbourne, Florida area. He did this Stranger Things 4 homage cover for us. We always love to do homages. We've done Metalocalypse. We did a Metalocalypse homage. we've done Garbage Pail Kids. We've done all kinds of stuff like that. We always like having those pop culture things that that are relatable, but that's a lot of the different characters in Heirs of Isildur on there. And then we've got these two covers, which I just showed you. Steph has a manga writing duo, Chess and Gwyn, from her area that we've been mentoring, and they've got a manga series that they write called The Bohemian Trials, and their stuff is freaking awesome. And they did that manga style cover for us for Keto, which is one of the characters. He's a samurai that's been brought into the Heirs of Isildur world. And if you have this issue of Heirs of Isildur Perilous Prospects Book 2, the inside of the back page, we put a bunch of ads for our future projects. And one of them, which is announced in there, is we're going to get to explore a little bit more of the world that Keto came from. We're actually working on that right now. And it is a nutty story. It's very similar to if you go back to Tales from Nocturnia. It's its own story, but it is a spin-off from Heirs, because there's a character that gets pulled from that medieval fantasy environment into Heirs of Isildur. So in that one, we got to explore more like World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons, things along those lines. We don't really want to talk about everything that's going on in
no spoilers,
but we can tell you that it definitely is stretching our offerings in a much different, much more unique way than we've ever done before. We are so stoked to explore that world, and it's one of the main things we're working on right now.
Oh, there you go. So Nita, do you have any final thoughts?
Please, if you're tuning in, even on the replay, go check this campaign out. Like, Matt and Steph are two of the most ball-busting people in our industry, and they deserve all the loves and all the credits.
There you go. So you can't get any better endorsement than that.
I definitely appreciate that. I'm always happy to be on your shows.
Oh,
Nita,
thank you.
Whatever has got you hiding behind the black screen today.
Well, technical issues. Well, technically, it's technical issues.
It's technical issues today. Like, it keeps cutting out, and like when I was trying to do shares or having to do the production stuff in the background, it was pulling so hard, it was causing me to drop. So
So in the end, it was just best that she stay behind the icon, or else she just keeps disappearing.
Right.
Yeah. So I'd like to thank everybody in the chat who kept it, who just kept it moving, kept it real, and kept it lively. I'd like to thank the 7 people next to my giant eyeball who made it through the entire hour. I hope you too are getting your Bruce socks, because I think everybody needs socks. Yeah, they look really good. So, and if you want to learn more about me and my work, and also, everything is in the show notes. So if you're looking for all the links, everything is in the show notes. So, like I said, if you want to see more of my work and learn about me and my art and my upcoming campaigns, you can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com. EGOWORKS. You can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites, but I mostly post to Facebook. If you're interested in seeing sketches and current work in progress and live updates to what I'm up to. And remember that you can see all of my videos on how I make all my comics and everything, and even my semi-weekly live stream. I try to keep it consistent to every Wednesday from 4 to 6 p.m. At my channel at Daphne Lage, Lager, which also simulcasts through the Indie Comics Network. And remember that you can read Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn on the website for free in daily uploads, or you can download a free PDF of the first 16 pages of the first issue if you're a little impatient for it, so that kind of get a hint of what's going on when issue 6 hits Kickstarter in a couple of weeks. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of a furry fantasy, Lord of the Rings adventure, you can follow the link over to Tall Tales, TAILSonline.com, where not only can you read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free, but you can read the daily upload of the brand new story arc, Tears of the Mother. Like I said, uploading every day, Monday to Friday, on the website that you can read for free as well. A lot of reading on the Tall Tales website. So I'd like to thank Matt again. I'd like to thank Steph for hanging out in the chat. And I think yes, and like I said, all the links to Misfits, to Heirs of Isildur, all their books are in the show notes below. And thank you, everybody. We made it through this Monday. We had a hairy start, but we made it through.
Oh, my gosh. My bad.
And in the words of the ancients, eat your food, moisturize. Mind your business and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you guys later.
No. In the words of Nita, tune in this afternoon at 3 p.m. for Fike It, Let's Draw with Rodney Fike. And also at 8:30 p.m., tune in to Indie Comics Network After Dark with Chad Perkins for Shots with Comics.
There you go. She had to fist fight the ancients for a bit. So, but we got it. We got it.
Okay. See you guys on the other side.
Let's get out of here before it goes even further south.
Oh my God.
Bye.
Oh my God.